Hello everyone, Julia here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane, Queensland. Today I'd like to show you how I made these two cards. They're very quick and easy to do, easy to colour in, easy to cut out. So first one I'm going to do is this one here, and it's really quick and easy to do. So I'll just pop this little one aside, and for this one all I'm using is the Spirited Snowmen, oh, a bit of shine on there, Snowman stamp set, and this holly leaf and berries there. And the sentiment that I'm using is from Nature Sings, and again I'll just get the glare off that. And it's this sentiment here that says, "May the spirit of the season bring joy to the world and peace to every heart," which I think is beautiful. So that's pretty much what we need. Okay, so for this particular card you're going to need a piece of shaded spruce. That is 8 1/4 inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. A piece of the silver foil cardstock, which again I have cut the centre out of because I really hate to waste it, and I use it for so many other bits and pieces. And then a piece of Whisper White that we're going to do our stamping on, and it is 5 5/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. And I don't know if I mentioned the foil, but it's 5 6/8 of an inch by 4 inches. Okay, so the first thing I'm just going to do is to fold my cardstock in half, and I just misplaced my bone folder, so I'm just going to use anything that's at hand. And I'll stick on the foil, get that on, and that's out of the way then. Just a bit around the edges. My daughter and I did these two cards on my Facebook page last night, and it was an absolute disaster, because anything that could go wrong did go wrong, including my light collapsing and hitting me in the head. So it was a bit of a comedy of errors last night. But anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes. And my daughter had a great laugh out of it, so I suppose all is not lost. Anyway, now, with the stamping of this, I'm going to use just the Stazon black ink. And I've just misplaced that stamp at the moment. I thought it was here on my desk. Just a moment, I'll be right back. Okay, I found it. I'm just going to... Now, the two cards are slightly different in the way I stamped this holly. I tried doing this as an embossed silver, but it just looked thick and messy, because if you look at this stamp, it's kind of rustic looking. It's like not a straight edge, it's like a broken fluffy kind of edge, and I really like it for that reason, because it gives it that older appearance, but it looks much better in the black, I think. Anyway, what I did is, for this particular card, I put the corner stamp on an angle like that on all the corners. Then one in the middle there, and then I tried to balance it out as best I could this way as well, just so that we had 3 down the side that were reasonably evenly spaced. I mean, it's all on eye really. I suppose you could measure it all up and put pencil marks, but I don't really think that's necessary. Anyway, once I'd done that, it was just a matter of colouring it in, and I used shaded spruce and the real red for it. So easy to colour in. There we go. But I do love this little stamp, and I really like making cards out of some insignificant little stamp that you see in a set that might get overlooked. And I think this is one little stamp that might get overlooked. It's so beautiful, but I really haven't seen anything being done much with it, and it looks fabulous when it's all coloured in. It's really quite, you can make it quite bold. So there we are, and then just the lovely red berries. So you can imagine it's very easy to colour all the way around that. But what I have done is I have got one already done so that we wouldn't have to sit and watch me colour in. And there it is. And so as you can see, I did my corners on the angle. Alright, so I'm just going to glue that on now. And these are all current stamp sets, so you'll find them in the catalogues. But this snowman and this holly leaf I just love. They're just beautiful. Okay, so that's now on there. We're nearly done. So the next thing we need are our pieces of cardstock here. So my green is, where have I got my measurements? There we are. 3 7/8 of an inch by 1 7/8 of an inch. And then the foil is 3 6/8 of an inch by 1 6/8 of an inch. And the sentiment is 3 5/8 of an inch by 1 5/8 of an inch. So they'll all sit nicely together there. So the next thing I have to do is just to stamp the sentiment, and this I did emboss. So I'll just get my VersaMark ink, and let's hope that my eye is fairly straight, because a few of them yesterday weren't so straight that I was doing, and Becky had a bit of trouble with it too, so we had a few front and backs till we thought it was close enough. Possibly a little bit crooked, but I think we'll go with it. You obviously don't want to sit around watching me get that perfectly straight. So some silver emboss. Oh, and I forgot the embossing buddy again. I'm sure there's people that sit on out there watching and go, oh, she's done it again. Luckily, it's pretty good. Okay, where's my little paintbrush? If there's any little bits that can just pop off there, that'll be fine. Okay, and I'll heat up the gun. I'm sorry for the noise. Only be a minute. Meanwhile, I'll cover up that VersaMark ink. And I've embossed this just to offset the silver foil I've used on the card too. I like to hit it from the bottom as well because it makes the cardstock stay straighter. There we are. I think that's good. Okay, so now we've got that. Now, the new corner punch, which is this one here, I love it. It does the 3 and it's just fabulous. So I'm going to use this one here and just sit that in there and do each corner like that. And then you'll see the silver foil through it as well. Okay, so just get all those little bits out of the way. That's going to look like that and sitting on there. So we'll just add that. And I'm going to set the whole thing up on this, all up on dimensionals on the card. So that on there. And then onto our shaded spruce. It's such a beautiful colour, this shaded spruce. Like, I'm not a big fan of green. I never have been. The only green I like is on the trees and the garden and things like that. But it's not a colour that I wear or really do anything with. So, apart from at Christmas. And so, I'm surprised that I like this colour so much, but it's beautiful. I think because it's really a strong colour. But anyway, it's something I really enjoy using, and at this time of the year, it's perfect. Just take those off there, and I'll put 2 in the middle, I think, just to give it weight. Then last night, Becky and I had a debate on how many rhinestones to put on it. She only wanted to put 1 on hers, but I think I'm going to put, let's get that straight, 3 top and bottom. It's not quite, well, that'll do. It's close enough. I sometimes worry too much whether things are straight, and I probably shouldn't. And there we go. So I'm going to put 1 and 1. Please comment below whether you like 1 or 3, but I'm going with the 3. There we are. And there it is. How simple is that? How bold is it? And what a lovely sentiment for a Christmas card. So I had a lot of fun doing that one. And the next one, unfortunately, has a die that is discontinued. And if you have this die, then but it's called Hearth and Home Framelets, and it is such, I saw it in the clearance rack here in Australia, and I checked everybody's clearance racks all around the world to see if anybody else had it. The only other country that still has it in the clearance rack is New Zealand, and so it's Australia and New Zealand. So if you can get your hands on it, get your hands on it. And if you've got it, great, because you'll be able to use it. Or if you know someone who's got one, borrow it, and you can just cut out a whole lot of stuff and then return it, and that's the way to go. I've done that before, just borrowed something, cut a heap of stuff out, and then I've got it on hand if I need it. Now with this little card, I have prepared everything because I don't want you to have to sit there all day, but I'll just tell you how I did the holly stamping, because that was important. Where did I've just got to work out where I've put things. There's that. Now with the stamping, like I did here before, I did the corners on an angle. For this to cut the window out, you need to do it straight. So straight across the top, straight across the bottom, and make sure you're as close out to the edge as you can be. I probably could have gone a little bit further out on this side here, but it doesn't cut enough off to detract from it. And as you can see on this card, I'm pretty close to the edge there. It's just enough so you get most of your holly in. So that's what I did. I coloured it, and then all I did was cut that out of there, and it was good because I could see exactly where it was. The other thing I did was I used the softly falling embossing folder, and I just put a piece of Whisper White in there. The size was 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 5/8 of an inch, and then I cut it in half so that I would be able to use that on 2 cards. So one's there and one's ready to go for this card. The other thing I did was cut this window out of a piece of shaded spruce using the Big Shot. So then I had that. So I've got everything here pretty much ready to put the card together. And especially if you don't have the window, I think you could actually work some way to actually cut it out of your card as well if you really wanted to do a window. But if you can get your hands on one, please do. I often cruise around the clearance rack and just see what's there, because the cards I make for family and friends and things like that, they don't have to be current. I'm still using them. It's the same with the cardstock. I still have cardstock that's no longer current, but I still use it. And especially if it makes up things that I really like, you know, what's the point of getting rid of it? Anyway, that's on. And then what I did, I just wanted to make sure I got everything centered well. So I put my softly falling piece in the middle there. Now I haven't stuck it down yet, and I'm just going to lay everything together and see how it looks before I glue it. And then I cut out these little snow people, call them snow people, and excuse me, I've gone croaky. This is gorgeous, this set. It is just beautiful. And the holly's in it and these little snow people. But you could put anything outside your window. You could do this beautiful reindeer, and it would look really lovely outside your window. You could pop carolers out there or Santa Claus or whatever you like. No, I just want to make sure this is all in the spot I want it to be in before I glue it down. So then I get my window and sit that in the cutout like that, and then I'm just going to sit them there, and I think I'm quite happy with them about there. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm just going to press down on the inside of the card like that. Oops, I think I did bump it slightly then. It's hard when you're not right over the top, just to make sure. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to lift that all off. And then what I did for this is I just lifted it up and put a line of glue under him. And a little line of glue under her, because the window's going to hold them down anyway. And then I did the same thing with this. Just put the glue, oh, I actually moved them then. That was silly, wasn't it? Like that. I would have given that more time to dry had I just been doing it. Okay, then we can set this over the top. That's all glued down now. And you can see that I had a bit of a practice on this side of this one. And it didn't go exactly how I wanted, so I did it on the other side. I don't waste anything if I don't have to. I'm not being miserly, but it just seems a shame to throw things away. There we are. There's that bit. And then the window. And as long as we make sure this window's glued down well, the snow people will stay there. Becky got a little bit carried away with the glue last night, so that was interesting. I get glue everywhere for a while. Okay, and this sits perfectly in that cutout. There we go. And then we just press it all down onto there and it sits in so well. And how quick is that? Like, I mean, these can be fussy cut out and they're really easy to fussy cut out. These are just cut out, and I think, as I say, I think if you don't have the window, there are other things you could possibly use or think about using just as a different way of doing something. And then all we have to do is our sentiment, and I've already cut the pieces. So we've got shaded spruce 7/8 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch, the silver foil 6/8 of an inch by 2.5 inches, and the whisper white that I'm going to do the sentiment on is 5/8 of an inch by 2 3/8 of an inch. So that'll go on there. And then I'm using Merry Christmas out of the Star of Light stamp set, which is another one I think is an outstanding stamp set, and I've used that before as well. Okay, so I just need my VersaMark ink. Sorry if my head gets in the road a little bit, I just want to try and line this up. I think you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully I won't have to turn it over and do it again. We'll see. Oh yes, I will. It's crooked. I didn't do a very good job of that at all. It's probably crooked again. When you want to do something straight, it's a little bit crooked. Never mind. We'll go with it. That's just me being fussy, as I do. It's not too bad though. Okay, and my heat gun's ended up on the floor for some reason. There we go. And it's off. Just swap it round so I don't burn myself too much. There we are. I don't think that's too bad. It's a little bit crooked, but not enough to get too worried about. And then some glue on the back of that. Pop that on there. And then I'm going to, it's quite slippery on the foil today. It's probably going to annoy me. I might put one over the top of it yet. We'll see. Becky gets annoyed with me when I do that. She says, okay, Mum, it looks fine. Okay, cover up my ink, and then I just want to just sit that as centered as I can. Just a little gap from the window. Almost like a flower box, I guess. Not quite straight for me. There we are. Okay, so that goes on there. Card complete. How easy is that? So, Australia and New Zealand, if you get the chance, get into that clearance box and have a look, and it is still there. One of the ladies that often watches last night said on the end of the presentation, she said, "Oh, I'm getting that die." So I'm really glad. It's very good for this particular card, but nevertheless, there's this card here as well. I did it that way, and I just needed a little bit more interest on that one. And then Becky did hers with the 1 red rhinestone, and I've done mine with the 3. And if you like these, please subscribe to my channel. I try and, well, I do get it something up once a week. And please thumbs up if you liked it. Turn on your notifications and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. And if you need anything, please go to my online shop, which is listed below, and you'll be able to find these things. And definitely this, Australia and New Zealand. Get in there and get it before it's gone, because I think it's really good with this particular stamp set. Love the holly. The holly is great. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week. Have a lovely day, the rest of your day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.